What is up, buddies? Welcome to Elk Don't Exist Pod. Today, another solo episode. I'm wearing my pink Elk Don't Exist game over tee. It's a play on, wild game and video games, 8-bit, like I grew up playing. Shout out to all my Nintendo fans out there. We're also joined by a live stream audience on Instagram. What's up, everybody? Oh, someone called me good boy? Careful now, I'll get a boner. All right, we're coming in hot here. We'll see how long it takes for Instagram to take this all down. But we're so glad you're here. I've got some notes taped to my Tricer tripod legs, so I don't forget what I want to talk about. It's very hard to do these podcasts solo. It's a big time skill set. I'm used to, like when I was preaching a lot, I need feedback. I need to know if I'm doing well. It's like, by myself, man, I'm not that funny. I'm barely that funny anyways. But I need the feedback. I need to be able to play off your energy. So sometimes it's nice to do these live. So thanks. Someone said, Daddy. Boner's gone. Okay. I thought this was a live drum performance. You would be so lucky. Hey, everybody. Stuck in the Rut, Tom Schneider. Fun fact, I grew up with the Schneiders, the Stuck in the Rut homies, and they've been doing this for a billion years. The Stuck in the Rut folk are friends of mine. Tom, him and I went on a wolf hunt together last year. And my running joke was I was holding the camera for him, And my running joke was every time we'd stop by like some kind of mile marker or a signpost, I'd pretend to be filming the signpost like I was giving away his hunting spots. Made me laugh super hard. Made him never want to hunt with me again. So was it worth it for the joke? Absolutely. Do I want Tom to teach me how to be a mule deer hunter? Kind of. We talk about it every year. Never ends up happening. So Tom, I blame you for that. Everyone in the live, if you, can you be my daddy? The Instagram live was not a good idea because people listening to this later are just not going to have any idea what's going on. But I'm so glad you're all with me. If for the live audience, if you have something you want me to talk about or have a question or something, feel free to ask. Yeah, wow, what a hot start. I've said 52,000 times. It's very hard to do these, man. I get intimidated when there's no audience. And that, like if I was talking to a therapist right now, what does that say about me? Because when I walk into a room, this is just what goes on in my head. When I walk into a room of people I don't know, I assume nobody likes me. And I have to earn my keep, so to speak. And it's a defense mechanism to be the funny guy. I love being able to figure out a person who our personalities don't click, and by the end of a conversation, get them to laugh at something that they usually wouldn't laugh at. But when I'm by myself, I'm just the clown without the makeup, looking in the mirror like, who even are you? You're a disgusting, vile piglet, Look at you in your pink piglet shirt. For sale at elkdon'texist.com. So shameless plug there. Please buy my apparel. Fun facts. Oh, the apparel brand has some big news coming up. It's been very cool. I've never put a dime behind marketing for Elk Don't Exist. I'll rant about how I suck at elk hunting wearing an Elk Don't Exist hat, and then sales go through the roof. So it's been a very organic thing, and this is the year where it's like, okay, the proof of concept for Elk Don't Exist. So I just looked down and read, someone now said, good girl, and my boner's back. So thank you for that. And I'm sorry for saying boner 4 times now in the first couple minutes of this podcast. What was I talking about? The apparel brand, guys. Pretty cool news. I think I can talk about this now. we're 90% sure this is happening. We've got some stuff to go through, but Scheels, that's right, you heard it, Scheels. Now, not nationwide, but Scheels, you know, the outdoor sporting brand, specifically the Missoula store, wants Elk Don't Exist apparel in-house. We made it, guys. So I'm looking at getting my first wholesale order and being in an actual storefront. So very, very cool. I'm designing a Scheels exclusive t-shirt that you'll only be able to get at that one particular Missoula Scheels location. So super excited about that. I talked to my merch person, and there's just a lot of cool things coming for 2026. This is the year we're going to pour gasoline on that fire. It has been, I don't make a ton of money off that, but it feels good to like create something and have it be a semi-recognizable brand, feel that, you know, fire continuing to grow. And yeah, just to be able to create something that is like for us, the mediocre hunters of the world, all trying to do our best, all trying to get better and not take ourselves so seriously. It's been so cool to see how the apparel side of this has resonated with people, with complete strangers on the internet, the messages I've gotten, the multi-millionaire CEOs that have purchased from me and said, just got back from a 7-day guided elk hunt. We didn't see a single elk. I've never needed a shirt more so badly in my life. Like, man, that means so much to me. To be able to create something with you guys and my day one followers, to be in on the joke and have it spread to other people. The whole goal, because I've killed 3 elk now. Look at that giant. That's a 400-inch public land monster that I killed with my bow last year. First ever archery elk. And people say, like, I don't get it. Elk don't exist, but you've killed 3 elk. Elk don't exist as a mindset, people. It's a constant reminder to not take yourself so seriously. So when people say, I don't get it, and you never will, brand's not for you. If you get it, you get it. If you get it, you get it. And it's on you if you don't. I love when I see elk killing machines. You know, there's hunters and then there's killers. And we could all rifle off a bunch of names of killers. You know what I'm saying? When they wear the brand, man, that makes my heart happy. Because they don't take themselves too seriously and they just love being out there. The amount of dudes that come home from a hunt mad and take it out on their families and they're grumpy because they didn't fill a tag. That's not what we're about, guys. We are hunting, other than the target animal, we're hunting our own ego. That's what we're after. There's too much ego in the space. There's too much ego in the hunting industry. I was just having a chat today with a really good friend of mine, and he said there's too many people in the hunting world saying, look at me, and not enough, look at you. And that's what I want to be known for. If I am lucky enough to be doing this for a long enough time to where I have some kind of legacy, that's what I want to be known for, is I made other people great. I didn't always just go, what about me? What about me? What about me? What about me? How can I make others great? And that's where the idea for the rookie season came from. And I'm hard at work editing videos. I remember I was a video director at churches, of all things, for 10 years. 10 years of my life, directing videos, filming stories of lives being changed, filming events, sermons, you know, the whole 9 thing, the whole 9 thing, you know, the whole 9 yards. And after I was done with that part of my life, I told myself I'm never editing another video as long as I live. And look at this. Now I do it for half a living. So thank you guys so much for all your support. I can't say that enough. Like, this doesn't exist without my, you know, this small collective group of hunters with a sense of humor. And that is, I'm finding more and more, it's a very rare thing. So count yourself lucky. We call ourselves the Silly Goose Army. If you'd like to be a part of it, there's no membership fee. There's no entry point. the only thing you have to do to consider yourself a part of the Silly Goose Army, the Elk Don't Exist Club, is to take yourself less seriously. So for everyone doing that, you're among friends here. So appreciate you. Lot of stuff in the chat. No one in this chat has an autographed Dillon Deitz 1-of-1 hat. That is true. I was at a trade show and had my logo. It was a slower trade show last year, and there was a really cool merch company that had a booth. And it was so slow, there was no consumers around, so vendors were just talking to vendors. It was actually a scam of a show. And from what I understand, the person who put on this show is on the run from the police. So that's fun. Promised 50,000 people to be there. We show up at this expo hall that you can walk a lap around in like a minute and a half. And if you've ever been to a trade show, I mean, you're putting on like 15 miles on your legs. Like, these venues are so huge, and they don't have 50,000 people coming. A lot of them. Anyways, I forgot about that until just now. But really cool merch company sent them my logo and said, hey, make me a hat. I spent like $73, I think that hat cost me. And I don't know, I just posted on my story after having the hat, like, who wants this? It's a one-of-one custom piece. Make me an offer. It ended up in a bidding war. Bidding war went up to like $150. I finally told the guy who won it, who's in the chat, Jake Wallingford. What's up, brother? I was like, just give me $50, donate the rest to an organization of your choice. And then he had me sign it with a Sharpie. So which took even more value out of it. So joke's on you, Jake. Man, that's funny. It is trade show season again. I'm not doing near as many as I did last year, which I'm kind of sad about. I didn't get invited to that many this year, which is kind of a bummer. Trade shows are super fun. They're a ton of work, especially like I'm not big enough to just say, here's my appearance fee and I'll draw a bunch of people to your booth. I'll probably never be that guy. So I got to go work. I got to set up the booth. I got to tear down the booth. I'm selling. I might get recognized twice at a trade show. So I'm not that guy. And I like not being that guy. I've like seen Remy Warren at trade shows. I've never met Remy, but I see him like have to walk through an expo hall and he just gets surrounded by people, which is very, very funny. And I'm glad I'm not that guy. I can like take a break, leave the booth, go look at guns, go look at stuff. And it's a fun time. But trade show season is coming up. So if you're going to I'll be at Western Hunt Expo here in a couple weeks. So if you're in Salt Lake City, get tickets to the Western Hunt Expo. That one is awesome. It's massive. There's so many people there. Great way to meet friends. I'm going to be doing some podcasts down there if I get time. So if you're going to be there, come say hi at the Tricer booth. Check out the new RP bipod, which is my favorite hunting bipod of all time. And Tricer doesn't pay me enough to BS you. So, it's the real deal. Love that bipod. And the new AD and BC tripods, they're way slimmer. They pack down shorter. They're a little bit lighter. The new center column is awesome. If you've used a Tricer product, stuff is awesome. But yeah, going back to the whole the ego thing, man, like one of the greatest revelations I ever received. I was a youth pastor, faking it till I made it. I have no business talking in front of people. And here we are somehow. But I just kept thinking to myself, I am not the guy. I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy. That's what I would always say. That's what I wrote in my journals. I just don't feel like the guy. And the greatest revelation I ever got was, hey, bro, you don't have to be. What does that even mean? The guy. And I think there's so many of us that are trying to be the guy. And it was when I took that burden off of my shoulders and I don't have to be the guy. I can support the guy. ADHD, I'm half decent at a billion things. How can I support the person who is the guy, if this makes any sense. But I wrote down in my journal, and I remind myself of it as often as I can, like, I am put on this earth to point out the greatness in others. And that is so freeing, dude. Like, I don't have to be the great. I don't have to be the funniest, the best comedian, the most viewed hunting, whatever. Like, nah, man, like, how can I make other people great? And if more of us had that mindset, I think the world would look a little bit different. But also, everyone who has a revelation, they start saying, you have to think like I do, or you're lesser than me. So I don't want to fall into that trap either, because that exists everywhere as well. Of, this is how you need to raise your kids. This is how a real man does. Noise, bro. It's all noise. There's stuff you can like take from that, but it's so much less pressure to say, I am not the man. I'm not the greatest. I'm not the be all end all. I am not the whatever. Because you don't need my opinion that bad. There's enough of them. You know, how do you feel about the Minnesota thing and politics? You don't need my opinion. A lot of this stuff I don't have an opinion on, because the more we spend time on our phones and the more bad news gets shoved into our eye sockets at 1 billion miles an hour, 6 inches from our face, everyone's expected to have an opinion. And whose side are you on? The older I get, the less I give a fuck. Okay? How do you feel about this hunter doing? Don't give a fuck. I don't. That's their life. That's how they're doing. Well, this person's doing this. If you consider, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Okay? Does that make sense? That's also so freeing. The amount of us that are just posting like politics on our story. Let me give you a secret. No one cares what your opinion is. And that's the truth. No one gives a shit what my opinion is. You know, I can like, man, this pissed me off. And can you believe it? No one cares, man. They're swiping through that. And the older I get, it's like, Instagram is for funny. Okay? Instagram is for funny. And that's it. The second I see a like more serious post, and I'll post some of those, because don't mishear me of like, if you ever talk about something serious, like no one cares, because that's just not true, right? But life is hard enough, okay? I'm only 35 years old, but I've got enough years under my belt to realize that the only guarantee in this life is suffering. It's the only guarantee. Happiness is not guaranteed to any of us. And that's why like those joyful times of life, they feel so fleeting. There's that old adage like, this too shall pass. And everyone applies that to suffering. Don't worry, this too shall pass. Maybe it won't, dude. But what is guaranteed is when you're at your most joyful, most happy, life's going the best, that also will pass. And it's like a sobering reminder to myself, like when I'm like those beautiful, sweet, I hate the word seasons, it's overplayed in the Christian community, but it is a good word to use. In those seasons of life, when you are just like, wow, everything is great, I have to remind myself, hey man, this too shall pass. And it seems like cynical to do that, and maybe it is a little bit, but it helps me enjoy those seasons a little bit more. You know, man, we're coming in heavy with the podcast, but that's what I've been thinking of. I don't need to be the guy. I don't need to be the most popular hunting micro niche humorous content creator. How can I serve the people that get what this is? How can I make them better? How can I remind them that we're on this team together? How can I bring more joy into the hunting world? That's what it is. And I don't have to be the biggest, the greatest. And don't get me wrong, I've got goals. I've got stuff that would be cool to do, but like, I never thought I'd be here, you know, being sponsored just for being mildly entertaining. Man, that's pretty cool. I don't make very much money. I make less than I ever have in my life. But for the first time ever, I don't have to ask a boss if I can take lunch break. I'll take that trade-off. I will be poor forever if it means I've got a little bit more freedom. So that's been cool. Every day is a fight to try to make a couple $100. But then like the support from you guys like helps me keep doing that. And that's really cool. So thank you guys. All 6 of you watching right now. Doesn't matter how many followers you have. If you go live on Instagram, I feel like it's hard capped at 7 people, like no matter what. And then you say boner too many times and that number goes down to 5. Because people can't handle the heat, okay? They can't handle being uncomfortable. And I think that's why we love hunting so much. It is, we're paying a great deal of money for gear to make the uncomfortable a little bit more comfortable. But man, last night I was riding an e-bike in a place that's legal to ride an e-bike. Thank you. You're never going to catch me on an e-bike somewhere that's not legal to ride it. Because I don't film those hunts. No, I'm just fucking around. Riding an e-bike across a like semi-frozen lake in the dark at night and hearing the ice like crackle and snap, crackle and pop. Very uncomfortable. My hands were frozen, very uncomfortable. We do something that is actively making us uncomfortable. Sure, we buy the gear and the clothes and the whatever to make it a little bit less uncomfortable. But I've never understood how you can do that. Like we are willingly choosing suffering. Yes, it's fun, so there's that trade-off. But there's how many hunts have you been on where it's like, dude, this is freaking miserable. Someone said riding an e-bike with a crossbow. I wish. Crossbows, man. I've made fun of crossbows. I'll always make fun of crossbows. I kind of share the sentiment. If you're a able-bodied person, shoot a bow, dude. Like, come on. However, I'm lying to myself if I said, oh, if Montana introduced a crossbow season, like a shoulder season, December 15th or whatever, you bet your tail, dude, I'm buying a crossbow and getting as proficient as I can with it. So I understand the opportunity. But I do generally side with the whole, like, unless you have a disability or you're a child, you shouldn't really be shooting a crossbow. Objectively, can we get away from hunting for a second? Objectively, crossbows are cool. It's an arrow gun. We're all men here. 97% women, according to the latest statistics, listen to this podcast. And to those, that 7% of women, you're welcome here. You're tougher than all of us combined. So glad to have you. Who said women can't be silly geese too? It is more rare though, isn't it? It's a lot more rare to find a woman with a sense of humor, isn't it? Nah, I'm fucking around. I got sidetracked by the comments. I wish I had a crossbow. You're telling me you wouldn't go coyote hunting with a crossbow, dude? That's baller. I think that's where we might be onto something here. Hold on. Let's explore this. Hunting deer with a crossbow. Objectively, gay. Okay? Hunting deer with a crossbow, objectively gay if you're an able-bodied person. Okay? Objectively, I don't make the rules. This is just kind of frown upon that. Knew a guy one time, killed a buck with a rifle, posed in the picture with a crossbow. I'll let you make your own conclusions. Shot it with a rifle, posed in the picture. He brought his crossbow in secondary, so he could pose in the picture with the crossbow. Objectively, a little gay. Objectively, objectively gay. Okay? So I understand it. However, I'm just having this thing. Go with me here for a minute. Shooting a coyote with a crossbow or having a successful wolf hunt with a crossbow, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard of. Right? Like, if you shoot a grizzly bear with a crossbow, that's amazing. That's the most badass thing I've ever heard. Like, if you get back from the mountains, if you got a big old wolf pelt, and you killed that thing with a crossbow, that's objectively cool. So maybe crossbow guys, I think you just need to double down. Be all in. If you're going to hunt with a crossbow, you can only hunt with a crossbow. That's objectively cool. You can't go crossbow to shotgun slug to rifle. Like, I think if you're going to hunt with a crossbow, you need to hunt predators with a crossbow, because objectively, that's badass. Like, if you've got a wolf over one shoulder and a crossbow in the other, you're telling me that's not the coolest thing you've ever heard? Dude, I think we cracked the code on crossbows. I'm going to clip this. Like, that's how crossbow hunters save their image as men. Because women hunting with a crossbow, I don't give a shit. And why? That's another thing I'll bring up with my therapist. Because I just threw that out there and now I've got to explore some things. Shooting a turkey with a crossbow, I think we're onto something here. If you are going to hunt with a crossbow, only hunt with a crossbow, and you need to, dude, how many people on YouTube or whatever are killing coyotes with crossbows? There's something cool about that. Like, are you with me on that? Like, if you killed a wolf, objectively, like, pinnacle, every hunter's dream. And I have killed one. I get made fun of a lot for being a bad hunter, and I'm slowly increasing my skills, but I have killed a wolf, and that's, I don't know, 90+% of hunters have never done that. But if you come out of the woods with a crossbow over one shoulder and a wolf over the other, bro, local legend status immediately. He did it with a freaking crossbow. That's the coolest thing I've ever heard. Thoughts on shooting an owl with a crossbow? Objectively, funny joke. Robert? Actually, that's a very funny joke. Shooting an owl with a crossbow. Why is that so funny? Everyone take a drink every time he says crossbow. Crossbow, 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 crossbow. It's 2 p.m. Everyone's hammered. Hilarious. I've never had that X-bow thought before. So there you go. Crossbow hunters, that's how you save your reputation. You get really good at hunting predators. Amazing. I've been shed hunting a lot recently. I'm objectively, take a shot every time I say objectively. I'm, man, terrible. You know what's funny is I took and paid for an IQ test. And I don't even believe the results. 138. My IQ is 138. That is a paid for verified test. And I don't believe that. So I've been like wrestling with that. Like, I've been a genius my whole life, didn't even know it. You'd think I'd be able to make more money as a genius. So that's something I've been thinking a lot about. Like, how do I capitalize on my geniusness, you know? And have you ever heard a 138 IQ human being say geniusness? So the test was probably not correct. So there's that I got to think about. It's called autistic, bro. Close. I have ADHD. It's the worst kind. At least autistic people are like just unbelievably good at stuff. ADHD, you're going to be average to slightly above average at 100 different things. And there is the old slogan, you know, the whole master of none thing. And I can't even remember it now. 138 IQ, by the way. A jack of all trades is a master of none. But everyone forgets the second part of that. But oftentimes better than a master of one. Pretty cool. But I wish I was like a master at something, you know? I can't call myself a master of anything. And it's frustrating because my brain won't allow me to do the hard work to, once it feels like work, I don't want to do it anymore. I got really into chess for no reason 3 weeks ago. Studying openings and endgame theory. King pawn endgame theory. What? Like staying up till 1 a.m, watching deep dive YouTube videos on king and pawn endgame theory and different openings, the London system, that's what ADHD is. Oh, what's this new shiny thing? Oh, that's giving me a lot of dopamine. I'm going to sacrifice everything for this for like 2 months, and then I'm never going to think about it again. So that sucks. That is the benefit of autism. I'm a little bit more like, with ADHD, socially aware, self-aware to a fault, to where I hate myself, so that sucks. Autism, a little bit less socially efficient, but like masters at the piano or chess. Like how many chess grandmasters have autism? I would say 100%. I would say it's a 1-to-1 comparison, most likely. So shout out to all my autistic homies out there. My friend Bailey, bro, you had a hyperfixation. My whole life is a hyperfixation. One hyperfixation to the other, and then inevitably going back to previous hyperfixations, but then never mastering anything. And that's what therapy's for. Learning, even though my brain works or is incapable of self-motivation, that's essentially what it is. Here's a whole tool belt of things to combat that. I don't have to go, well, I have ADHD, I can't do it, and be a victim forever. I'm not about that life. Let's figure out how to combat that. Funny enough, hunting is the one hyperfixation that has never gotten old. Granted, once a season, I will say, why do I do this? Like the rest of us. That's for another time, perhaps. Guys, I think I'm a rifle guy. I think I'm just a rifle guy, and I think that's okay. I have not touched my bow since I killed that elk. Haven't shot it a single time. The bloody arrows from that bull are still in the quiver. It has been hanging there. I haven't shot it a single time. But I've shot my rifles a whole lot. And I have some really, really fun rifle builds for my YouTube coming up. I've got a Marlin 4570 coming. I have 2 different 22 rifles, one that's a little more bougie and one that's a little more budget. So I'm going to be doing a video on like a budget 22 versus like a higher end 22. And then I've got the new SEMA Pro from Bergara in 25 Creedmoor coming. And I'm so excited to make some long form YouTube videos on those. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because obviously I'm a billion times more successful with a rifle. I have one big game bow kill under my belt, and it only took me 12 years to do it. But I have never gotten skunked with a rifle, other than on bears. That's the one thing. But I just like rifles. I like seeing, as a guy who struggles with flinching, because my dad, when I was 11 years old, 11th birthday, my favorite thing in the world at the time, music and drums. I would still say I'm a better drummer than I am anything else, except a lover. No, I'm pretty bad at that too. You guys already knew that. Roll the tape. Just joking. We're on Instagram Live. Sorry about that. So I have a twin brother, okay? And we were both getting into music at the same time. I taught myself how to play drums on my desk at school. I got detention for it. But like, you know, the desk, it's like the wood panel with like the metal rail and then the brutally uncomfortable plastic seat. I'd put a book under my foot. That was my kick drum. And this was before YouTube, dude. I didn't have YouTube to teach me stuff. I had to learn this by listening to songs. And I just wanted to play drums because I thought it was cool. In fact, like why I wanted to play drums, me and my brother, we had a good friend when we were younger, like 10 years old, took us to his youth group. And they were putting together a youth band. And the youth pastor was like, does anyone play drums? Like, we need a drummer. And I just raised my hand. I'll never forget my twin brother going like, the fuck are you talking about? You don't play the drums, idiot. And I get up there, and I obviously can't play anything. Like, I just lied. Couldn't play anything. And was humiliated, obviously. I don't know why to this day I raised my hand. And maybe that was like a God thing, like, you're going to do this. But from then on out, hyperfixation, I'm going to learn drums. Listen, it's starting to delineate what each drum was and whatever. But I would play on my desk at school. The metal bar was like hi-hats and cymbals. I'd put a book under my feet for the kick drum and then smack the desk for the snare drum. And my mom and dad heard me tapping away at home, and super annoying for them, obviously. And they ended up buying me my first drum kit. And so I was, anyway, so my 11th birthday, I'm expecting a drum set. And my brother opens his gift first from my parents, and it's a brand new electric guitar. Shiny red, glittering Ibanez Geo. And he's so excited. And I'm looking at my gift box and going, well, that's not a big enough box to hold a drum set. So what did I get? Open the box. It is a Ruger M77 Mark II chambered in 30-06. I like to go hunting with my dad sometimes, you know, but I didn't shoot guns. I just, you know, we would go along with him. I had zero interest in hunting. And so there's a picture of this picture of me with that M77 Mark II is framed in my parents' house to this day. And you can tell from my face, I am so bummed out about this gift because I wanted a drum set, and that's all I could think about. But what was so cool was my dad giving me that rifle, like, made me fall in love with hunting. And it's cool to see where like life has ended up now, where I get to hunt for a living. Very, very cool. But I say all that to say, 30-06, you know, I was my same height, which is 5'10 3/4, not even 5'11. And, you know, I am, believe it or not, 170 pounds. I look like I'm 120 pounds. But imagine this frame, same frame, but 112 pounds. That's how much I weighed when I was 11, 5'10 3/4, skinny as a rail, weak as a mouse, and with a 30-06. So I remember the first time shooting it, cried, because of course I did. That recoil was so shocking. Like a 30-06 will get you, you know, especially as a string bean. So I would close my eyes when I shot. And this is no surprise to anyone. I started hunting when I was 12. I killed, that year, my first year ever hunting, did not kill a deer. But spring bear season comes up. I've never even seen a bear in my life. And kind of like a mentor of us, a hunting mentor we had, a mutual family friend was like, Dillon, let's go bear hunting. I'm like, I've never even seen a bear. I'm in 7th grade. All I can think about is girls. You know, I don't want to go hunting with this old guy. And third day bear hunting, killed the biggest black bear of my life, giant cinnamon. Still to this day, the biggest black bear I've ever killed. And so I was like, dude, I'm a unbelievable hunter. Like, this is great. And then it took me 5 years to kill my first deer. I probably missed 50 deer. Because of that rifle, I was so afraid of it. And it took me, when I really started like hunting was 12 years ago, I would say, like falling in love with it, wanting to get better at it. Knew I had a horrible flinch. And so ever since then, maybe this is why I'm more of a rifle guy than a bow guy, is like, I want to become as good a shooter as possible. I'm getting really, really good at shooting really, really tight groups. And for the most part, have gotten over that flinch. It's taken me a long time to get there and still got some work to do. And I still miss something often, dang near every season, because I can't handle my emotions. I get too excited and forget my shot process or whatever. But it's really fun for me to go to the range, not shoot off a lead sled or whatever, but shoot from different positions and shoot really, really tight groups, just to have it all fall apart when there's an animal in front of me. But yeah, more of a rifle guy than a bow guy. And maybe that's why there's I've tempted to rush a shot or two with the bow as well. I just get too excited, man. I don't know how physiologically, biologically, people are able to suppress adrenaline and slow their heart rate down. Yeah, I don't know how you beat that. I think some guys just have it, some don't. I've said this on other podcasts. I've said it before. The best killers in the world, the vast majority of them, are kind of duds to hang out with. They're so even-keeled, borderline autistic. And I think like whoever can handle their emotions better are just better at filling tags. And so it's a constant fight with me of like, how do I overcome that? Like, physiologically, how is that possible? There's breathing techniques and whatever. But I'm just not wired to be calm. I just get so excited, you know? I get so excited. And I think that's a good thing. I don't ever want to lose that, even if it means I miss an animal or two. Like, dude, I love that excitement, you know? So if you have any tips or tricks, leave a comment on this podcast on YouTube or on Spotify and say, hey, this helped me with trigger panic, or hey, this helped me with, here's this little mantra I say to myself to calm down before I shoot. I know dry firing can help. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm sure some of you relate to that. Other news, been a Seahawks fan my whole life. It's been a lot of years of pain. We're going to the Super Bowl. I don't care that much. I say that, but I'll throw my phone at a wall watching football because I feel like when my team wins that I somehow have won. So that's a bad character trait. It's like Taylor Swift fans. When Taylor Swift gets engaged, they feel like they got engaged. What? What are you talking about? You're not a billionaire performing in front of billions of people a year, making billions of dollars a year. You're not catching the interest of NFL players. What do you mean you feel like you won? And I'll make fun of like Swifties all day long. I do the same thing with the Seahawks or the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Because if they win, I somehow feel like I have won something. And that proves that my IQ test that I took is not accurate. Proves it. Don't see chickens. Cool. We're in the Super Bowl. See, I said we. I'm not in the Super Bowl. I'll never attend a Super Bowl. So what is that in human psychology where when people that don't even care about us win, and then we feel like we won. What is that? Tribalism? Whatever. Down a lot liking the Bulldogs. Scapegoat outdoors. Love you, bro. You don't know ball at all. Down a lot. Gonzaga Bulldogs are a 2,000-person Catholic school that over the last 25 years has built one of the most winningest college basketball franchises of all time. Down a lot. We make it to the big dance year after year and genuinely have a shot at winning it. On a tiny little Spokane school with one of the greatest coaches to ever coach. Down a lot. Beating top 10 schools every single year. Always have it. Being a Gonzaga Bulldog fan is the greatest fanship to be a part of because you're always pretty good, but you're still always the underdog. And who doesn't love rooting for the underdog? Down a lot. That's crazy. A lot of people in these big schools, they don't even make it to the championship every year. 2,000-person Catholic school, one of the most winningest teams in college basketball history. I feel pretty good as a Gonzaga Bulldog fan year after year after year. No one's team is going to win it every year. Do you know how hard it is to win the national championship in college basketball? You're probably a Duke fan saying that. Congratulations on being a Duke fan. Do you know how hard it is to win the national, especially now they've got G League players saying, well, I'm going to college and with the NIL I can play. It's never been harder to win the national championship. Have you seen Michigan playing? I'd put them up against half of the NBA teams and my money's on Michigan. Those are grown men playing basketball. Gonzaga's team this year is one of the better teams they've ever had. And they got beat by 40 points by Michigan. And Gonzaga didn't play that bad. So that's what what we're up against. It's not a fun story if your team wins a championship every year. You're probably a Patriots fan too. I'm just joking. I don't really know you. I'm messing around. And this is, you do like the Tar Heels, of course. Because your attitude comes across as being a Tar Heels fan. I'm effing around. I don't care that much. Here's the thing. The older I get, like who you like what you like. I don't give a shit. You know? I don't care. Good, awesome for you. Oh, this guy shoots this caliber and who cares? You know? I'm having trouble paying my bills. Don't got time to worry about that. People are angrier than they've ever been. And I open my phone and it is the worst news humanly imaginable. And it doesn't faze us anymore. Like whatever sports team you like. I do not care. I'll root for your sports team. You know? Unless they shoot a 6'5" Creedmoor. I don't care. Great round. Not a lot of recoil. Flat shooting. Easy to get ammo. Every gun manufacturer chamber is a 6.5 Creedmoor. Awesome competition round. Don't care. I can't be bothered with it. Can't be bothered with, what's wrong with the 30-06? Nothing, boomer. I know it won 2 world wars. I'm aware. Is that your favorite caliber? Amazing. I shot a 30-06 for 20 years. Shoot what you like. You know, everyone says, fill your tag with shoot what makes you happy. Big believer in that. Had a guy telling me in my DMs that me raising my kids to shoot whatever buck gets them excited, that I was a bad parent for that. Hey, guy, fuck yourself. And I genuinely mean that. If you think I'm going to tell my kids, only real men shoot mature, what are we doing? Shoot what makes you happy also applies to calibers. Shoot what makes you happy. I'm a big old puss with recoil. I'm not shooting a 300 Win Mag. Don't care. I'm 35. Have your opinion. It's not going to affect my life. I like the newer calibers that are getting good ballistics and coefficients out of lower recoiling platforms. I can actually spot my impact and make a follow-up shot if I want. I don't have to flinch as bad, which means I can kill animals better. That's me. I don't want a 338 Lapua. Don't want to shoot one. Do you have one? I don't want to shoot it at the range. Ouch. Yuck. Call me what you want. Can't be bothered. Don't care. If you shoot a crossbow, yeah, I'll make videos about it. And to be honest, it's like low-hanging fruit. That video is going to get a bunch of views, a bunch of likes. That's why I don't make a bunch of them. I don't like making content like that. I don't care that you shoot a crossbow. I don't care. Shoot what makes you happy. Put your tag on what makes you happy. But you better stop apologizing for it when you post it. That makes me furious. Well, it wasn't what I was after. Then why'd you kill it? My buck this year. I've killed some hammer whitetails. I'm actually becoming a little bit known for it, which is awesome. Public land, old, mature deer. My buck this year rattled. He came screaming out of the woods. I just got a tiny look at his frame, and in my mind I went, I'm killing that deer. No idea how big he is or not. Saw frame and was like, I don't care. Yes. Lot smaller than I thought he was. Lot younger than I thought he was. But I was so pumped to fill my deer tag and have that experience. It was the experience of that deer responding to the rattle, just screaming in. Freaking awesome. Okay. I hope that helps, guys. And even if you disagree with me on what I'm saying there, love ya. Welcome to the Silly Goose Army. You're welcome here. You're among friends. I just want us all to stop judging each other so much based on things that really don't matter. Right? What matters? My opinion. What's your relationship with the Lord like? You've heard me talk. I've said boner now 7 times in this podcast. I got some work to do, you know. That matters. Is Jesus the center of my life? Is it outflowing into every other aspect of my life? Not as much as I would like it to. Got to get that under control. That's what matters. Are you kind and loving to people that don't think like you do? That's the key. Jesus said, love your enemies. And I think too many of us think Democrats are our enemies. Got it backwards. Jesus was really, really kind and sweet. And yes, told the truth. But he did it in love and grace to a lot of people that weren't very good to him. He died for the people that crucified him. When on that cross could have called down, and I quote, legions of angels. Decimate all of them if he wanted to. I would have. If they mocked me, spit on me, ripped my back open, put me on a cross for doing nothing wrong, I would have called down everything from heaven and no one would be alive. Jesus didn't, died for them too, loves them too, created them too. That's important. Are we fighting for public lands together? Pretty important. A lot more important than being tribal over what camo someone chooses to wear or gets paid to wear, or hating on content creators for getting paid. I thought this was America and we could do what we wanted. Some people will be in the DMs, must be pretty nice to, it is. It is really nice to get paid to go hunting. And it's not that simple. There's so much work that goes. Do you know how many hours a week it takes to put this podcast out for 40 people to listen to it? And hey, one of the 40, dude, thank you for listening. Super cool of you to care at all what I have to say. I hope I can make you laugh. I hope sometimes I can challenge your thinking. I hope you get better at hunting. I hope that I become one of the greatest elk hunters of all time. I don't want to stay bad at this forever. Like you, I want to get good at this, and then I can like impart some of that wisdom to you. I just want my ego to stay out of it, and I want just that raw joy, that freedom that we feel when we're hunting to be the main thing. IRS taxes us for everything. Taxes us coming in, taxes us going out. They can't pass an audit to save their lives, but if I missed $20 on my taxes, I go to prison. The world is very unfair, guys. Nature is unfair. Nature doesn't care how you feel. Grizzly bear doesn't, or windstorm and a tree falling down doesn't care that you have kids at home and that this is your hobby. Doesn't care. But what do we all feel when we go hunting? Or even if you don't hunt and you can just go hike on public land and just go find your own scenery. You have it. Freedom, guys. True, the last bastion of freedom, I believe, is public land hunting. And if you're a private land hunter, hell yeah, dude. Never gonna hate on you for that. If people hate, I've talked about this too much and I get too worked up. But the people that are poo-pooing on private land hunting the most are the ones that can't get permission to save their lives. Because they're not a good person. And they don't know how to talk to people and have a conversation. Or ask a rancher, hey, if I help you with that fence, any chance I could maybe look for sheds or something? They don't have they don't have people skills. That's another tangent. I'm sorry for that. But guys, this was fun. I'm getting lost in the weeds here, and we've been going for almost 2 hours. No one needs to listen to me for that long. Let me love the graphic though. Thank you, brother. What's your take on a pink tee? Hey, fashion. Listen, brother told me this years ago. Wear whatever you want. Just wear it with confidence. I love a pink tee. You know why? I'm secure in who I am. You know? Ooh, pink is gay. It is gay to think a color is gay. That's way gayer. And I've said this a lot, and I stand by it. If you care what another man puts on his skin, it's pretty gay. You care about what goes on my body, dude? You care that much? Look at this. You want me to really make some people mad? Who cares? We're getting mad at flat brims versus curved brims. You're a brim. Stop caring. They were sick. They're gay and rich. Hey, at least they're rich. You know? That's why we're mad at them. They have more money than we do. That's what it is. That's funny. Who cares about all this auxiliary stuff, man? Do you know why people get so tribal with their hunting clothing? It's because it's so expensive. We're guys, we have egos. If we spend money on something, we want to justify why we bought it. Well, no, because we got to stop doing that too. Who cares? Let's go hunting. Let's put our phones down and go hunting. You know, a lot of the people that hate on me the most, I haven't had to block a lot of people, but the ones that wish my kids disease and cancer, yeah, I got to block them. I will roast them thoroughly for their balding ponytails, which is that ratio of men wishing my kids would die because I made a joke and balding ponytails. That ratio is damn near 1-to-1. And you can quote, that's hilarious. Maybe one of the funniest things I've ever said, and I will clip that. And I hope that they see it when their favorite hunter shares my post. So, hilarious. A lot of those guys, if they went hunting with me, they'd like me. Probably. And if they don't, who cares? Who cares, guys? Take care of your families. Love and support each other. Yes, make fun of each other. Don't take it so personal, though. Let's try to end the tribalism a little bit. And at the end of the day, I am praying for 2026 for all of you, that God would reveal himself to you. He would help chisel away at our egos and pride and arrogance, because I've got a lot of that to work through. And I pray this year you'd get to hunt more than ever before. And when you come home, your family sees that positive change in you. Thank you for being a part of the Silly Goose Army. This has been a great episode. Very fun one. Thank you, Instagram Live, for making this a really fun solo episode. It'll be released tomorrow. If you're coming in late, my friend Matthew Hammer just joined. What's up, Matt? When are we hunting elks together? You just let me know, brother. Name the time and place. You know where I am. Come to Montana, and we'll hook it up. This will be out everywhere tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this. This was a fun one for me. Please support elkdon'texist.com. And every purchase there goes directly to me, and my family. That $8 to $10 for a hat, $8 to $10 for a t-shirt. My margins are razor thin. And be on the lookout. And I'll do a big announcement when we are if you're in Missoula, the Missoula Shields, we're going to be in that storefront. And I can't believe it. Very, very cool. I think this is just the start of something much bigger. And I want you to feel like you're a part of it, because none of this would be possible without you guys, regardless of being a North Carolina Tar Heels fan. You know what? I hope the Tar Heels win the championship. I hope they beat Gonzaga again in the finals, because I want to be known for a guy that cares more about your happiness than my own. Luke, thank you. Nice bull this year. That's a 420-inch public land giant. We're waiting on the record book to confirm that. Hilarious. My best bull ever, though. Really cool. Guys, thanks for joining in. elkdon'texist.com. I will have a Shields exclusive design in Shields that you can only get at the Missoula location. So pretty cool, man. Thank you to my sponsors, OnX, Tricer, Lacrosse Footwear, Barnes Bullets, Maven Optics, and some other ones. 2O Gear, of course. Love 2O Gear. Guys, they give, I don't know if you knew this, most every company gives a 10% off code. That's like standard. 2O, if you use Dillon Sucks, is 25% off. That's madness, brother. So if you're looking for like a really cool, solid, puffy jacket for 50 or 25% off, go check 2O out. They've got that molten heated vest. When they said they're sending me a heated vest, I'm like, I'm not a fat Midwesterner in a tree stand. I don't need a heated vest. The one they sent me is so compact and lightweight, I just use it as a normal puffy vest. And then when I'm sitting up on a glassing knob and that wind chill starts to cut, it comes with a 10,000 amp hour battery. It'll charge your phone between 4 and 7 times. So it's just a great power bank, but you can plug it right into the vest. And it's like God is giving you a hug. I've never done heroin, okay? Got close. But this is what I think heroin might feel like, is a nice heated vest. Just, it's like Jesus embracing you. Unbelievable. So yeah, Dillon Sucks. And at Tricer too. Saves you 10% off everything. Dillon Sucks with 2O saves you 25 stinking percent. So, yeah, love you guys so much. I hope your teams win. I hope your tags get filled. And even if they don't, I hope your soul gets filled. What about their e-bike seat? 2O does not have an e-bike seat yet, but we're designing one that is a cylinder shape. Okay, we're going to end it right there. Love you guys.